Hi there. If you like watching more content like this, please consider subscribing. We have the best edited videos and it also supports the channel. Now, continue to video. My 56 female, dying ex-husband, 60 male, told me he's leaving everything to his current wife, and nothing to our 2 daughters, 19 female and 21 female. I don't know how or when to tell them about this. My ex-husband left the family close to 9 years ago, in order to marry his current wife, 31 female, and they now have a 7-year-old son together. I did not ever explicitly tell my daughters that my ex-husband had cheated, but being subtle and taking things slowly has never been my ex's strong suit. So when he married his wife a month after our divorce was finalized, and had been living with her long before, there was very little anybody could do to put a positive spin on the situation. While I was able to provide a roof over our daughters' heads by balancing 2 part-time jobs, our lifestyle still dropped drastically, while my ex-husband's, especially outwardly, skyrocketed. My daughters couldn't completely hide their resentment at both of us for the situation, so it wasn't just directed at my ex, but regardless continued to be respectful towards my ex, and whatever my ex-husband wanted to do, even if they hated the activity he had planned, they would eagerly acquiesce to it, if it meant they'd be able to spend an afternoon with their dad. Their dad was the spoiling parent when we were married. But after our divorce, he complained incessantly about being asked to chip in extra for their tutoring and extracurricular expenses, so both developed a lot of anxiety around money, and started never asking for any money, and taking odd jobs around their school and neighborhood, in order to pay for what they wanted. Their stepmother would always be hypersensitive to them wearing even mid-range branded clothes to their house, despite them saving up for it all, and also despite their stepmother buying into the large designer logo culture, and never wearing the same thing twice. They would always not be invited to any family-related event, and have had to watch their dad take their half-brother on lavish vacations all around the world. Even when their dad got lots of free extra passes to Disneyland once, he decided to let the extra passes go to waste, and only use them on his son and wife. Both my kids refused to ask their dad for any money for college. My older daughter is a senior at college and has taken out a lot of loans, but also works a practically full-time job to help pay bills. My younger daughter passed upstate school for community college. They have tiptoed around their dad and stepmom's often mercurial tempers, and both always practically burst with happiness, to the point of near tears, at any small gesture from their dad, whether it is presented or him showing up to something. Obviously, their dad means a lot to them, and I feel like they think that slowly but steadily they are making progress, and their careful approach to him is paying off. However, recently my ex-husband has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He could never give up his smoking habit, and he doesn't have much time left. My older daughter drove 3 hours to and from her summer semester at college, in order to see him. Both my kids have had to deal with their stepmother telling them they don't want to be disturbed and never returning their calls. However, they keep trying to get in quality time with their dad. The other day, I was surprised to get a call from my ex-husband. He told me that I can rest assured that he feels bad about this, but that he made his vows to his wife that he would always take care of, and he always intended to stand by those vows. And that it was his obligation to take care of his wife, while I was around to take care of our daughters. He said his wife has no work history except briefly as a receptionist at an interior design firm when she was 20 and never attended college, and that is because she has devoted all the past 9 years to him and their son. He said that if it makes our daughters feel better, he was only leaving a trust fund to their son for around 5% of the estate, and the other 95% of the estate is going to his wife, and that he's sure his wife would be nice enough to help out her son's half-siblings, if it comes to that point in the future. And by the estate, he also means a lot of the heirlooms given to him by his mom, who never knew my daughter's half-brother or stepmom, and created sentimental memories surrounding the heirlooms with my daughters. He told me that he finalized this will around a year and a half ago, and he says he didn't know how to communicate his decision to our daughters, and asked me to do it, and that he wanted to spend his final days in harmony with everybody. He seems to also be mentally justifying this decision by assuming that his widow will keep in touch with my daughters, even though she is only barely polite to them when she's around them, and that when his widow dies, She'll be compassionate in how she writes out her estate. What do I do? I know both my daughters will be devastated to hear about what will be the ultimate representation of their dad, despite their efforts, seeing them as little more than an afterthought. They will also be especially hurt by being denied access to things that remind them of their grandmother. I am also very upset, because his last will and testament will probably not mention my daughters except to cut them out of it. I don't know whether to try to convince their stepmother to hand over at least heirlooms that mean nothing to her first, or to convince their father to try to at least to single out our daughters for some written tribute to what they meant to him, at least an acknowledgement of how hard they tried to stay close to him. Both options have a high possibility of causing drama with their stepmom, and I don't want her to react by possibly gatekeeping access to my ex. I also don't know when to tell my daughters about this. I feel they would resent me if they find out that I knew and kept it from them for a period of time before telling them. But I also know they would likely not be able to hold back from telling their dad how much he has hurt them, especially my older daughter. If I tell them after their daddy's, and before his will is read, I might be able to reduce the chance of both of them possibly regretting what they say to their dying father, but I would feel very guilty. Share your suggestion in the comments below.